to see it came out of love. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
Yeah, you have to. It's a case by case basis. You know, and if you're going to use some type of harsh word, use what the Bible says to use. I mean, Isaiah 1 has ass, means a donkey. You know, you read where Matthew 23 got some good Bible cuss words there. Yeah, fox, serpent, snake. Okay, what do they call them? A whited sepulcher. Okay, that means you are white. You like a white tomb, but inside you're nothing but a dead body. That gets somebody mad. You call somebody a dead body.
What do they call them?
Demon.
In the New Testament, generation of vipers.
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 And there's a way to say those words and really cut somebody's spirit. You're Beelzebub, devil, you know, Eve, serpent, eating apple. You know, there's all kind of stuff you can make up, but you know, and that's what Most High will bless.
People do get mad when you call them the devil too.
Yeah,
You the devil.
with a capital D. Yeah. So we got to keep it like the brothers did, you know. Nehemiah 13, 23, 24.
I got it.
Okay.
Nehemiah 13 and 23.
And then get John 19 and 20. Let's read that real quick.
Nehemiah 13 and 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod and Ammon and of Moab, and their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod and could not speak in the Jews' language.
So here, from the scattering, and they're coming out of captivity now, it's 6th century BC, coming out of Persia, but some of the brothers, after they were released by Cyrus, some brothers went to these different lands. Some are already there. Because sometimes you go to a land because you got family there. That was already there from Solomon's time. I mean, I can go all the way back and show you it was everywhere. So, you know, they speak half their own tongue. Some spoke a little Chinese, Moab. Some were speaking Ashad, meaning the Arabic tongue down there. Ashad is like Philistine in that area. Okay, lower Israel. So they were speaking these different tongues. And like the same thing we do now. Now let's go to the New Testament and see that same vibration of tongues come all the way up and how the Most High was scattering the people of Israel and in different names, under different names that you read right here, and under different languages. What's that, 10 and 20, 20th verse? I mean 19, sorry, 19, John 19 and 20.
The book of John, chapter 19, verse 20. This title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city, and it was written in Hebrew, in Greek, and Latin.
So now when Christ was crucified, his name is Yahushua in the Hebrew, or Mashiach, which is Christ, right? When they had him on the cross, they wrote down 3 different languages of the people who were mostly in that land, who were black Jews, but they wrote mostly what was the main languages. We got Hebrew, they were speaking Greek and Latin from our first Greek captivity under Alexander the Greek and Antiochus Epiphanes and all those guys. Now here come the Romans, conquered them. You had Pilate, coming in, and Herod, the Roman rule. So these 3 languages. It's funny how right now the Jews of Israel, the Jews who our people are throughout from North, Central, and South America are speaking 3 basic languages. Notice that? English, French, and Spanish. Here they're speaking Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. Just different things I look at. You know, like these 3s that's going on. Those are the main tongues we're reading, different dialects of it. You know, this is mainly English and French with our Haitian brothers, and some other people speak French. Then you have the Spanish tongues. These are the main tongues, the tongues of captivity. Okay, let's go.
Canadians speaking French.
Yeah, Canadians speaking French up there. I used to live in Canada, up in Nova Scotia, 7 years. You know, you might be, it's just like America, but you walk down the street, you run into a French neighborhood. That's the only thing different. Or they'd be bilingual, they're all bilingual, they'll speak both, but you know, they'd be speaking. I learned French in school. I forgot it though, but I learned it for 1 or 2 grades, started to learn it. Let's get Colossians now, and let's just go through some. I'm going to bring this all together. I'm just putting out different historical scriptures that we should look at, how Israel was moved abroad. We're going to, go on for about another 10 minutes so I can just bring this to a hilt. Colossians 2 and 11.
Con.
What I gave you will give you a better understanding of how to understand these scriptures in Acts and 2 and this one in Colossians. You understand this a little bit better.
Con.
I say Colossians too. I say Acts, right?
But this is Colossians.
Colossians.
Con, the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 11. In whom also ye are circumcised with the
No,
circumcision.
3:11.
3:11. Con.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all and in all.
Now, people automatically think that this means Jews and the Gentiles are all welcomed in here, no matter what you did. You ain't got to change your white Jesus. You don't have to. You have to go and fix the Negroes' ghettos. You don't have to stop gentrifying our ghetto. You can keep on. The cops can keep killing us, but then you can be saved. After all of that, we the ones that got to be saved. You don't need to be saved. You need to be punished. It's like when we mess up in the Bible, we went into captivity. Now these Gentiles have done worse than the Jews ever have done and continue to do it. But yet they think, okay, Christ saved me now. Well, what have you done to be saved? That's the main thing I'm asking. Okay, you want to be saved, I'll roll with that. But what are you doing? Faith without works is dead. And you Gentiles, y'all just dead, man, when it comes to this truth. Okay? So here, it says, whether neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision. We know part of the covenant when you go into Abraham was a covenant of circumcision. Not that it never been done before, but uniquely it was done with Jews at 8 days old. I hear Arabs used to circumcise their children at 13. Okay, some Africans circumcised at whatever age, and even circumcised their women. This has been going on for thousands of years. But the Most High made it the only mark allowed on us is circumcision mark. And when you read the scriptures on where we put holes in our ears for earrings, you can do that. There's scriptures where they put holes as ornaments. His brother was wondering, should men have earrings? We just read in Ezekiel 16.
We was decked.
They had earrings.
We was decked and gold.
You can clip them, or you can make a hole and put it in. There's scriptures on that. I'm just saying it. You can think I'm wrong, but you're going to be wrong because the scriptures are going to say it. I don't say it unless I don't remember it now, but I'm saying what I know is right, and it's something for you to study. Okay, so here, circumcision, uncircumcision. The Most High does not care. Abraham was not circumcised when the Lord came to him. But yet his righteousness and his spirit, what was inside, he didn't care what he was dressed. Okay? So we're like Abraham now. But you got some people, back in the day, I was reading this one book where the Jews, the Pharisees, you couldn't come in the temple, right? And they would take you to a room to check you to see if you're circumcised. If you weren't, you couldn't come in the temple. That's why Paul was coming against that. Not circumcision itself, but because of the tradition of the Pharisees, that you had to be circumcised to come in. Well, you're not a son of Abraham. You're going to hell. Well, Abraham should have been to hell then, okay? So and then when you read, when we came out of Egypt, were we circumcised? Some were, some probably were, some probably weren't. But the covenant wasn't given then. So we're in Egypt now. Some of us are circumcised, some of us aren't. Same way it was back then.
Some of our parents didn't know no better.
They didn't know. So why the Pharisees? Why do you have people who are getting on the circumcision? I'm not saying don't do it. We should all do it if we can. But some others have a reason, or they're just not ready for it. Whatever reason, some aren't. The Most High still gonna save that brother. like he saved Abraham, like he saved us out of Egypt. Because there's some brothers who are circumcised who are wicked as hell. That's why the Lord ain't going for all the little traditions and put no burden on us. Brothers think when it says they put burdens on us, well, it's not a burden to keep the law. It's a burden when you condemn somebody if they don't keep it. Our job is to teach you, and you do the best you can with the ones you can do. We know some of the laws we can't do. Some of them may have to work the Sabbath or half the Sabbath. We try to get out of it, but you might have to pay your rent. Most understands we in prison. The food we eating is sin. We shouldn't be eating. So the circumcision, uncircumcision, Christ's going to save us as we are. Just circumcise your spirit. Get Jeremiah 4:4 so you can see that the New Testament mentality is not something new. Everything in the New Testament is in the Old Testament. So how is this new thing going on? All they're doing is reading the Old and bringing it in a condensed form so we can understand. We're going to read Jeremiah 4:4. Let's read that real quick.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verse 4. Circumcise yourselves to the Lord, and take away the foreskins of your heart, ye men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem, lest my fury come forth like fire and burn none that can that none can quench it.
See, that's the main thing Yahushua and Moses was worried about. Okay? Getting brothers to circumcise their heart and their mind. But the first thing was the heart. Because the Pharisees were taking it too far. Okay? They was going to pull my pants down and see if I'm blood inside. They used to do that back in the temple times. Okay? That's why they were getting on Paul. Because Paul was saying in the spirit, look, don't worry about circumcision. He was right. Because some brothers weren't coming to the temple or coming to learn because they weren't circumcised. So they weren't getting the knowledge. They hanging on out there. Find little picky reasons. Get them in there first. After they learn, then they're going to go ahead and they'll do it themselves when they're ready. Okay, we're not out of Egypt yet. We're not in the wilderness yet where we had to do it. Joshua, we had to do it then. He was died. He was dead. Right now is mercy time. Right now is the new mercy. Moses' time, letter of the law killeth. Okay? But there was mercy then. We read mercy in Jeremiah 4. Circumcise your mind. Take off that old mind and get the real man out there. Because, like as we read, the Most High is looking at the heart. Now, he's not looking at the flesh until we get out of this Egypt. So it says, where there was neither Greek nor Jew. There were Jews in Greece. Greece was founded by black Jews. Okay? This is not talking about white people, because you know there's a difference between Greeks and Jews, right? So why is it saying where there's neither Greek nor Jew? Yes, there is Greek or Jew. There's different Esau and Jacob. And you go on that level. But these were black Greeks. They were called Lacedaemonians in the Bible. Lacedaemon, okay, get that in the Chronicles. I'm just breaking down these names. This is the last one we're going to read, and then we're going to close. I'm going to give you a little bit. Get First Maccabees 12, 21. 12. I know that one. And when I read that, and then I saw Spartans, the 300, and I seen they were calling that land Sparta and Lacedaemon and Lacedaemonia. I said, oh, okay. I'm linking it up.
It was 12.
Yeah, and you link it up. The original name of Greece was called Lacedaemon, or Lacedaemonia. He was an ancestor of the Greeks, okay, and the Spartans, right? And his wife's name was Sparta. Sparta is a black woman's name, okay? They named the main city after him, and there were many cities of Greece. They didn't call it all Greece at that time. It was called Lacedaemon or Laconia. And you can look up Lacedaemon. I go back again to Homer's Iliad and look up Lacedaemon right there, and it'll say ancient name of Greece. Now I'm going to read about the Lacedaemonians.
Do you want me to read 5?
20.
Or 20? Okay.
12 and 20.
12 and 20.
Okay. That's the set of 19.
Come on. First Maccabees chapter 12, verse 19. And this is the copy of the letter which Honorius sent, verse 20. Arius, king of the Macedonians, to Onasius, the high priest, greeting. It is found in writing that the Macedonians and Jews are brethren, and that they are of the stock of Abraham.
Stop right there.
Hey.
I can read it all the way down. So Lacedaemonians, this is a word to write down. This is all new stuff for some of y'all. Look up Lacedaemonians and we'll read you right to Spartans with Lacedaemonians.
I remember we was talking about that before.
But even proof of that today, if you turn on the NBA, what's his name? Giannis Antetokounmpo, Greek freak, black dude from Greece.
There you go.
Yeah.
So from 1500s, Lacedaemon goes back to his father Doris or Doric. Doric's father goes back to Danon, and Danon goes back to the tribe of Dan. Okay, the Spartans, ancient Greeks, were the tribe of Dan. Okay. So, and if you read Ezekiel now, going back to the Bible, just real quick, another precept, and I'm going to close this up. There's going to be no more scriptures after this. But Ezekiel 27:19, more black Greek history. So we see the names that Israelites were scattered to. That's what I'm giving you, little points. There's a whole lot, but this is just really milk right here. That's why I'm trying to break it down. You know, just a couple names so you can read these scriptures with more understanding than just skimming over it like, oh, this is white folks, and the only ones are the Jews, and they keep running. Okay?
Ezekiel what?
Ezekiel 27:19. So from 1500 up until 338 BC, when Philip of Macedon and Edomite conquered the black Greeks, that's when it became white. But these Greeks you read about that are converting in Paul's teaching, those were black Greeks. Okay, not the white ones. The white ones conquered the black Greeks. The same when you got black, white Jews in Israel, they used to be black. You had black Greeks. They were called Hellenists, and they used to be black. Now they white. When was that transition time? 70 AD is when Jerusalem went from black to white. 338 BC at the Battle of Charonia is when Greece became white. When you look it up, you'll see it. Philip of Macedon, father of Alexander, conquered the black Greek city-states. Athens, okay? Thessalonica is in Greece. That's in one of the Bible books. Those are Jews in a Greek city-state. Philippians, Jews in a Greek city-state. So Paul was teaching devout men out of what? Every nation under heaven. Every nation. Didn't it say some? We'd be scattered what? North to south, in the east, in the west. I'm going right back to the prophecy. Okay? I mean, we really lost a lot. And what was stolen from us is even more than what was stolen.
Can I bring up this precept?
Yeah, what you got there?
Second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Yeah, so that goes back at that time. You know the first thing comes to my mind? Roots. When Kunta Kinte was whooped. No, your name is Toby. Okay? And a Roman is whooping that black Moorish Jew. Kunta Kinte.
I didn't know. I'm sitting there watching it. I watched it like a couple days ago, and I didn't realize that they were Jews until he was like, "Oh, he's gonna wait till the 8th day to give him his name, and then they're gonna go ahead and do it." I was like, "Hold up, that's one of our customs." And then as they go out and they like reveal stuff slowly but surely, like they're Jewish. I was like, "Wow, they're the Jews." And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that." So I'm like, I'm gonna watch Roots all over again.
Gotta watch it though. If you buy the book, they probably won't tell you the movie, but I have the book. Right, it's a small. It's page 636 in the soft cover. Roots by Alex Haley. 636, third paragraph. I used to read this all the time. And it tells you Matilda is one of the ancestors of Kunta Kinte. She was a slave. Abraham Lincoln is coming to presidency, and he's freeing the slaves somewhat. So she makes a statement. She said, those people are talking about Abraham Lincoln, okay, freeing the slaves. It sounds like Moses freeing us, children of Israel. She didn't say thee, she said us, children of Israel. In that right there, she's comparing Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves to Moses freeing us, children of Israel. She said us. As a black slave.
That's big time.
See, little things that only Israelites pick up. Ezekiel 27:19. But get that book, the soft cover, and find that excerpt before they, powers that be, take the book off the shelf or take out that little excerpt. Because we used to bring it all the time back in One West. That was, about our slavery, brother had a book somewhere. We had it in the library, brother would bring it out, and the whole class be like, what? They passed the book around. Everybody read it.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 27, verse 19. Dan also and Javan going to and fro, occupied in their fairs. Bright iron, cassia, and calamus were in thy market.
Right.
What is that?
That's it right there.
Okay.
So Dan was mariners with their ships. They were the main mariners during Solomon's time. I can prove that in another class. So they were going to and fro. They had import-export. Because remember, Dan was along the coast. And then Javan was the ancient, Javan was one of the sons of Japheth. And they were living, if you go on a biblical map, you see Javan was living in Greece. So Dan was going back and forth in Javan's land doing business with them, to and fro. So this is Israelites with the with not ancient Greece. They were in the land of Greece. That was way before the Greeks. This is Javan.
Okay.
Right. Now Javan were brown people. Later on they were called Mysians and Minoans. Then it tells you in 1500 BC, the Dorians conquered the Minoans and Mysians. That was Dan conquering Javan. See, then we took over as the Dorians or Lacedaemonians, or later known as Greeks. You see? So I'm just showing you why he said where there's neither Greek nor Jew. That's like me saying there's neither, New Yorker or Jamaican. We all one in Christ. There's neither Venezuelan or Puerto Rican. We all one in Christ. That's what he's saying here. No matter what language you speaking, your culture you got, you look a little different, we all are the seed of Abraham, the blessed. So these Greeks were black, Jewish, Hellenist Greeks. And Helen come from one of the ancestors of Greek history. Helen would be like Noah. Then he had 3 sons. And some of the names of Greece are named after those 3 sons. Okay, when you buy Achia, one of his sons. Okay? But Helen would be like the Greek, like the Noah of that time. See, they have similar biblical history, but they changed names up.
Right.
Just like Thor and his mother Phrygia and Odin are like Joseph marrying Christ. Thor had the power over the over the lightning. Christ calmed the lightning and storm, and he's the sun, and all that stuff links up. But circumcision, we went through there. Now barbarian is one of the names that scholars gave the Israelites. They didn't call themselves. Huh?
So I thought that was us too.
Yeah, that was us. Barbarian means bearded ones. Okay, Berbers, comes that word. Barbary Corsairs, Barbary Pirates, Barbados comes from this word. Okay, and there were different families of barbarians. There were 4 main families that we spread out. Remember these names. Okay, Scythian are Israelites in Russia, in Eastern Bloc up there. We had went up into Russia. Yeah, he was a black Israelite. Scythian.
That's crazy.
Scyth means a sickle, things you cut down long grass with. The Grim Reaper has one. That's what Scythian means. Okay, and barbarian means bearded ones. Okay, barbers Because we had brothers you went to get your beard
crazy,
done.
bro.
Okay? Yeah. And they used to cut, they keep the beards up and finger well. Also, back in the day when you went to a barber, he was a physician. Because he washed you. You can go to get a bath. You can go get a nice herbal drink. You can get aromatherapy. The barber was like a physician. Do all that with the barber. You ever see them restaurants where you go into the barber shop, you can get baths?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that little bath right there? You sit in that bar, they come in there, he do your face up, he do your hair, wash it, and everything. But they're physicians because physicians were about taking care of the body. And that was one of the things they made some extra money on. They had a barber shop. You see, so that's where the word barber. And then when you go into the barber, they don't have them a lot. But I read in a couple books, they have that red, blue, and white thing.
It's still a symbol. They might not have the actual one on there, but they'll have it painted on the window or something like that.
Well, that goes back to the temple. The white is purity, the blue is the law, and the red is the blood of the covenant. Wow. And the temple curtains for the Holy of Holies was red, white, blue, purple. But that's what that goes to, because a lot of the doctors were priests. Because if you sick, you want to have a priest to pray over you if you're dying. So they had those both jobs to heal your spirit and your body. So a lot of barbers were doctors. Wow. Okay, and they were priests. You see, so this is barbarians. See, all that's out of barbarians. But now they have barbarian meaning someone who doesn't speak well and see, just the opposite. Just think the opposite. Esau's opposite. He'll say totally opposite from what the barbarians were, very intelligent people. And remember, these are the 4 waves in 1000 BC. 4 main waves of Israelites came out during Solomon's time. And these are the names that the scholars call them: Scythians, barbarians, Celts, and Goths. Remember those 4 names, the Gothics. Gothic means God's people. That's where you get the Gothic dress. When you're watching, the Games of Thrones, you're watching Black history. They got the fantasy stuff, but them clothes, that's Gothic. And the Goths became 2 groups. They broke up in 2. Visigoths went west and settled Spain and became Christians. That's what the Moors was fighting. Not Christian Jews, they were Goths. Then the ones went east, the Ostrogoths, they became, Transylvania and Russia and all those eastern places. Okay? So you had these 2 Goths going this way. The Celts, they spread out and became British, Danish. Danish means Dan. Those were Danites. Okay? Wow. The Great Danes, the Great Danites. They were the Danites up in there. And the history tells you that. And so Celts became, Ireland, Black Israelites, the Scots, Scandinavian, Finland, Denmark, Mark of Dan. Yeah, I was here to make my mark.
Everybody looking for names. You walk around.
That's why there is a naming names all over the place. The Great Danes, the Danish, Denmark. Those are the Celts. Then
when
you
did
have
these 4 rise? Like
1000 BC. You'll look at these 4 groups that scholars called them. They didn't call themselves all this, but from those groups, all these European names came out, like the Russians and all the Eastern, that came out of the Scythians and the Ostrogoths. And then all the ones west, like Ireland and Britain and all of that, that came out of the Celts. And then you have the Saxons, right? They came out of the Celtic wave of Israelites. And Saxon means Isaac's sons. And Anglo means angel. Angel, sons of Isaac. You see, all these names pertain back to the Israelites taking their culture.
You stole that too.
Yeah.
They stole
Everything.
They call themselves Anglo-Saxons.
They do. And really,
they call themselves Celtics. All that.
And really, they are Saxons in a way. Because remember, when we had servants with us, they're sons of Isaac. But they're not Anglo-Saxons. We're the Saxons. We're the Anglo, meaning angel sons of Isaac. They're the demon Exactly. So that's the way you break that down. You know, all these names go back to Israelite sources, Israelite character, Israelite vibration. Britain means covenant man. You know, Britain, covenant man. You break that down. Irish means peaceful land, or shalom land. You know, peace land. It's after the feminine of Aaron, okay, which is Erin. Okay, that's the feminine, Aaron. You ever see women called Aaron? Well, that's Aaron means manly, but really Aaron in the feminine means peace. So Ireland means peaceful land. Then Scotland means dark land. A lot of these lands, and they were the same people. They just split up. I'm gonna go over here, go over there. Scotland and Ireland, the same people. King James was Irish. Okay, his mother was Mary, Queen of Scots. You know, or Scottish. She was Scottish. So he the same people. You know, the Highlanders were black. All the people were black.
They try to. I think in history they say that a lot of the kings and queens came from Scotland too. They never came from England.
Yeah, they did. Because King James was called the king.
They didn't come from there.
Right.
They came from Scotland and they came down there and ruled England. You know, England means angel land. Okay, angel land, England, angel land. So barbarians, Scythians, bond are free, meaning some Israelites were in captivity like we are today. Some are free slaves. You know, it's like we in America. You got free slaves, you got the ones in captivity. It was the same thing back then. But Christ is all and in all. How is Christ in all? Because our spirit, he is our brother. The blood of Christ is in our veins. The spirit of Christ is in the spirit of the Israelites. Nobody else. They can act like it, but I don't see them acting like it. I don't see these nations acting Christ-like. They fake it, but they're not acting like the way the Bible says. That's why we teach it so hard that the Gentiles are not going to be saved like Israel. Okay? They're not going to be saved to be kings and priests. They didn't put in no work for that. So you got to get out that Gentiles being saved. Okay? Ask why. Okay, that's all I ask. Why? Why should you be saved? What are they doing? Okay? Maybe a small little crew might get through there. I don't know. That's up to Christ. I'm just saying the way that they push it is like we have to go bring them in and we must let them come in. And no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, they just mix up the coffee. Okay, we need strong coffee with the shades of brown. Okay, don't put no milk in there because it's going to make it dead. So this is why you see a lot of history in the barbarian Scythian, because Christ knew about this migration of Israelites up into Europe. Scythians were the ancestors of the Russians and all them people. Those were Israelites first. Okay, that's why a lot of these.
That's the only reason I know about Alexander Pushkin.
Yeah, look at this book right here. This one book I bring out. I have many of them. By the book called Russian Icons by Father Vladimir Ivanov.
You know how much they want for that book?
Oh yes, I know how much it is now.
Now, yeah, I looked it up. I was like,
by Ivan, this cost, I bought it for $60.
oh, now they want racks.
It costs a little bit more now. Here are pictures.
Russian icons.
Maybe here are pictures of
That book is dangerous.
Esau changing the black Jesus to the white Jesus. See, they went throughout all the dark art of Europe during the Renaissance, and that's when they began to change black Israelite Dark Age rule. When we ruled Europe, okay, for 1,000 years, they called it the Dark Ages. We had migrated there, and some of us were in captivity under the Romans, but we broke out in 193 AD, and then Constantine came on the scene and brought the Bible back as law, and we ruled up until the 1500s, right? Top rule, but we didn't lose the whole kingdom until the 1800s during the Russian Revolution. Okay, so you're seeing how they're changing pictures around. This is why I don't want this book out. Let me show you this book this part right here.
It's going for $1,049.77.
It ain't even worth that much. I mean, it is, but you know, it could be $2,000. You saw just
They got another one on here for $3,900.
We don't want y'all to be.
Yeah, he didn't want to keep
that's all it is.
Keep it out of our sight. These are. This is Saint Antipas, one of the saints of ancient Russia, the back one. And over here is Saint Nicholas. And this man right in here, yeah, this is Saint Nicholas. He used to love red. He used to, be a bishop, right? Archbishop of Myra, Russia. And he used to go around with a sled with a reindeer, bringing presents to the children and teaching the Bible. And he had a little spiritual power too. And it tells you in the 1941 Collegiate Dictionary, Webster's Dictionary, that Saint Nicholas of Russia, his name been corrupted in America to Santa Claus. This is Santa Claus right here.
Black.
This is 4th century AD. 4th century AD. He's one of the bishops. 4th century is
Israelite.
He's Israelite, yeah. That's him right here.
It makes sense. Who else gonna do something like that?
And you can look it up. Saint Nicholas. That's right here. Saint Nicholas is from this man right here. You see the name right down here in the bottom. Saint Nicholas. That's him. You see the black folks there? And this is 4th century when he lived. That's the same time Constantine made the Bible the official book of Rome when he took over. Constantine was not the first one to make Christ into a white man. He didn't do it then. This whole book was full of what Constantine did. King James wouldn't have had nothing to work with if Constantine didn't do what he did. All King James was write down what Constantine did. They always talking about Constantine took the book and changed this and that. He didn't change nothing. That's why when you read in the Bible, it says sometime containing the Greek and Hebrew scriptures. Why I say Greek? Because Constantine was speaking Greek. Okay, they had to take it out of Constantine, and these brothers like him, they were the same time. 4th century. Constantine was 4th century. And this is one of the brothers who was helping Constantine spread the word, one of the missionaries. And they made fun of him. He had 2 reindeer. He used to go around and wasn't flying, but now they made 9 and made it into, all demonic and stuff. But this is a very good book you can get by Father Vladimir Ivanov. White man trying to steal it, but if you got, a lot of brothers got this book that was back in West with me, and they got to hold on to it. Another book, Nature Knows No Color Line by J. Rogers. You got to get this. This is required reading for every Israelite. Okay, this is 2 books for the night, but get these books. If you got to pay $1,000, do it, because we have to keep our knowledge. Okay, and we have to get our history. The Bible says, I think it's Proverbs, says, buy the truth and sell it not. And once you get it, don't sell it. I won't sell this book for any money, because I know it's our history. And I know Esau is trying to take it from us. Okay, so we have to teach this knowledge of the Most High is much more wealthy. You have more wealth spiritually, okay, than Esau has on a carnal level. Okay? And I know when I was shown this book, I said, brother Yeshaya up there teaching, and the teachers from the old school, that sparked my head right there, like, oh, this is it. You don't know how you affect people when you be dropping this word. That's why you got to be careful. Because that's one thing that, like, I was in school 7 days a week. School used to open from 7 until 10 at night. I was there 7 days a week. It's a different zone. Everybody is moving. Back then, brothers, it's just like, it's coming. We should go to the trooper program and work out on Sundays and go. And then brother come and show us martial arts. Then all Sunday we had the trooper class, which you did for 4 hours. And the first hour was law, second was prophecy, then it was the Hebrew, and then it was the history. You had 4 hours. You had a break, but you got the intense, class, man. So y'all, all of us, school in Israel, and all y'all just keep studying. Hold on to what you have, man, because what you have is much wiser than all the wise men of this world, man, no matter how much you got, because it's concentrated. It's knowing Christ is black. That's wise enough. So we're going to, any final things y'all want to say? Pretty much you got a good start in just the main trajectory and the play-by-play of history. And when you start studying Colossians 3 and 11, start looking up those 2 names, you're going to run into all kind of biblical connections.
That's wild.
Look up Saxons, look up all those names. It'll come right back to that Bible every time. Google it. You'll probably find it quicker. We had to go sit down in bookstores with a lunch and find all this stuff. Y'all be like, gotcha. All right. You probably can find this book online, and because I know there's books you can get online, and you can just go
like
turn the pages. I'll probably get that.
Yeah, I think they got it on there for like $60.
The PDF?
The online version.
The
maybe.
PDF.
Yeah, I think if I saw it correctly.
For
If you
Russian
got that,
icons?
they might have it.
They might have
Everything is on.
Got that.
I mean, everything is
online.
on what do you call it? Everything is on Google now.
Google Books. Sometimes they be having free books.
Yeah, I got some free stuff on there. I got the Apocrypha, the Bible, and the New Testament on free Bible app.
Yeah, I got that too.
You got that?
The
Yeah.
app with the whole thing.
Got the Apocrypha, and it's good. I mean, everything. I thought they, tampered with it.
Concordance too.
Yeah, you bring it
I
right
got a
up.
concordance, yeah.
Oh, they do?
No, the app is a concordance itself.
It is, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can put in any phrase and they'll find descriptions for
If
it.
you go on Google Play Books, you can get they got the Greek Septuagint on there. They got
They got Russian icon on there?
let me check.
They probably do.
Let me
Father
check.
Vladimir Ivanov, I bet you they do.
They got the Apocrypha on there. Same thing, like you could like flip through it just like a book.
Yeah.
You can highlight, you know
I
what I mean?
got
All
that
that.
too. Thank y'all for coming on to Mount Zion here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And listen, you can go see us on YouTube and subscribe on Mount Zion 144K. You can also catch me on, you can start out, we have many different Facebook accounts, but mine is Korash, with CHAARASH, Yashar Allah, YASHARAHLA. So friend me, and from there you can get all these brothers or whoever, ones you want to follow. And Brother Aina, who's not here with us right now, okay, he has powerful programs such as this one and other ones with all the brothers teaching. And you'll be able to get a lot of this knowledge and carry yourselves into this awakening and bringing the knowledge of the Bible to the salvation of your spirit. So, you didn't find it?
Yeah, it's on there.
You got it. You got it. Russian Icons by Father Vladimir Ivanov. Get that book, it'll blow your mind. Everybody in there, they got some white ones, but they got a lot of black ones. Then they show you how they covering up the black ones and making them white. This is what you call the Renaissance. They renovated and gutted out all the dark art in Europe, most of it, and they putting white pictures up with Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. And these guys were homosexuals and pedophiles and demon worshippers, okay, and murderers. These guys were. And we had to learn about all these guys when I was in college, in art school. I had to learn about all these guys. I'm thinking these guys are great. And they were good artists, but as people, no, and I felt that, but I just didn't know why, and but now we know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So I want to say Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Praise the Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua Mashiach. Shalom.
Shalom.
Jesus is black. I heard Jesus is black. The Messiah is black. I heard Jesus is black. Yahweh Shai, he black. I heard Jesus is black. Jesus is black. I never went to church and heard Jesus was black. The prophets, they black. God and the angels, they black. I never went to church and heard Jesus was black. Evangelical Christians, the papacy formed a pact. I never went to church and heard Jesus was black. Now why is that? Imagine that, yeah. Now why is that? Imagine that, yeah. Now why is that? Imagine that. Time to burn all these false depictions. Revelation chapter 1 gave us the true description. Damn, Daniel even described appearance. by every single word in his sentence. Why you think Joseph fled to the Egyptians? So Christ could blend in with his visage. Lamentations told us that it's blacker than coal. My skin all black like 30-30 Job. Black and brown like the ground, cause we made of dust. Black like the ancient of days, who made us. Better identify or catch leprosy, Moses. I got Revelation 2 and 9 for posers. From the tongue of the Messiah to my enemies, I slay you all and reign over thee. An infidel I was to Jesus, being black could no longer be. I'm in love with the I still militant me. I never went to church and heard Jesus was black. The prophets they black, God and the angels they black. I never went to church and heard Jesus was black. Evangelical Christians, the papacy formed a pact. I never went to church and heard Jesus was black. Now why is that? Imagine that, yeah. Now why is that? Imagine that, yeah. Now why is that? Imagine that. This is death to all icons. No longer needed Jesus here to rely on. When no fathers in the house, no around, we got Christ to look up to and to be proud about. Now before this song, imagine what this world was like. If you was told Jesus is black, would you be serving life? If you was told the truth, bet you wouldn't serve a day. Lucifer minions made you worship Caesar Borgia. Look in the mirror, Jesus the Christ reflection. Anything else, devil's deception. I'm paying arms with gold, paying tithes is trickery. I wanted power, so I tapped in my ancestry. Gain knowledge, governments wanna crucifix me. Cannibal cabal doing voodoo diabolically. I'm Teflon to that satanic shit, it can't touch me. Praying night and day, put a certain energy in my chest. I took the same energy and put it around my neck as an invisible set. I'm in a coupe with no roof, prophesizing what's next. Do it look like I'm trying to get a check? I'm contemplating on being forever blessed. Only 144,000 don't get left. I was woke when a thief came and you slept. I never went to church and heard Jesus was black. The prophets they black, God and the angels they black. I never went to church and heard Jesus was black. Evangelical Christians, the papacy formed a pact. I never went to church and heard Jesus was black. Now why is that?